This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spike and Jones podcast. This week we feature a deep six all about grudges. Fortunately for Rob, he doesn't have many. Spike, he's loaded to the gills. Rock on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
Spike and I are back together here. We're actually going to try Facebook Live again, although he doesn't know that. But he's not even going to try using his phone because he's got the,
told me I would have.
The black X of death, so it's all good.
Why I got to go racial, man? Sorry.
Great start.
Thanks. Yeah, here we go.
But
Nate,
we all want to hear what you're doing. What's going on with Nate and Spike's show, and are you digging it? And are you getting any traction?
Well, what we're finding is that we've been in this the same length as the presidency. we came on the following Monday.
Yeah.
President started on a Friday because he had to. I think that was pretty well calculated. They started on Friday for the presidency, and then of course he had to go golf.
Yeah.
He had to truck on down to Mar-a-Lago.
So you caught up.
Mar-a-Lago, yeah. We've been doing this about 6 weeks, and we're having a ton of fun. I love Nate. He has, he's like a small child.
Nice.
He's willing to let me try anything. He's willing to anything I ask him to do, he does. I mean, as far as, hey, we're gonna confess what our biggest screw up is.
Wow.
You know,
cool.
we're talking about the post Oscar. Mm-hmm. You know, and we played the whole game. You had one job. We played the you had one job game. You know, and we talked about, go back in your. I said, I'll give you some time to think about it. And come back in the next hour. People will tell you we had one job.
Man,
we screwed it up.
Yeah,
and we had people text into the show, and people are responsive. They call a lot. They text into the show. We're on social media. We have a Nate and Spike Facebook page. We got a at Spike KZOK Twitter at Nate's on Twitter now. Yeah. I don't tweet enough.
No, he's helping you.
No. He's got his own, and I'm crippled.
Yeah,
I've got the brain of a 54-year-old.
You need to tell him to follow Spike and Jones because he doesn't.
He doesn't follow on Twitter?
Not yet.
Okay, well, I don't either.
No, I mean, like he's going to be searching for it.
I tried to.
We're his competition, bro.
No, we're not. No, we're not. It's funny, we're not.
I know.
And when he has time, I've asked him, and he's interested.
Cool.
But Nate's got a kid, a little young boy. He's a married guy with a young kid.
Is he our age?
He's a little younger than us.
Okay.
His boy at Leo, I think he's 4 now, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And his wife's a teacher, so he's got daytime duties with the boys, so it's tough for him to get. One of the reasons afternoon drive works so well for Nate is his schedule helps that he and his wife Michelle co-parent. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course they do. But they split the clock because she's a teacher and a daytime girl, and he's a afternoon drive host, and they can kind of hand off with a little interim, staycation in the middle for the boy at a socially fun preschool environment.
Nice.
It's going fantastic. He's got a great sense of humor. He loves to laugh, and he doesn't know any of my games yet. I mean, because Joe and I should say, after 25 plus years, we knew each other's tricks, and it was tough to surprise each other. Whereas now he and I can just, we just have to look at each other and what? Huh?
He laughs at you constantly. I've noticed that.
That's fun. I'm glad.
It's great.
It's genuine. I hope.
Yeah. No,
either
you can tell.
that or he's the best fucking actor on the face of the earth, which is also not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think he genuinely gets my sense of humor and he enjoys it. So.
Yeah.
And I his.
Yeah. I took your advice. I not to say I stopped listening at the 5 o'clock hour because it's not true, but I definitely listen in that 4 o'clock hour so I can actually hear some banter. Mm-hmm. And you guys can tell you're clearly having fun. And,
well, it's
and
try
the
the 2 o'clock hour because we still have gas at that point.
Oh.
We're not at gas yet. It's funny. It's come to the point now where I try not to see him before the show.
Really?
Yeah, because we'll bust each other up, and then I try to recreate it on the air, and that's never ever worked for me.
Sure. No,
you got to be spontaneous and original and real.
It's like that time we did that podcast and we didn't record it. And it's like you can't come back and
go back and try to do the same material, and it just fell flat because we both weren't expecting
an hour and a half wasted, and it was good stuff. That sucks.
You know what? Spring training games don't count either, but it makes you better.
Yeah, that's
I'm a firm
true.
believer.
So
I got a kid. Speaking of which, one of the kids that works around the building here is his name's Ian's great, and he's. God love him. I hope he hears this because he is the most annoying little shit. But I love him because he's got that passion for radio, and he's God love him. He's got to learn to take signals, like when I'm reading and working and he won't stop asking questions and shit. But I love that he's mining the show for fun content because he wants to make afternoon show promos to run around the clock on the station. And, and he's, I'm teaching him the whole, you got to kill your babies mentality, it's a comedy.
So hot.
It is. Everything that comes out of your mouth isn't gold. Everything you think is funny isn't.
Yeah.
Weed out the weaklings, kill off the stragglers, and go only the strong survive, and that mentality. So it's fun to have somebody that's that kind of enthusiasm. I can't wait to get him on the air, just start as a character and just start messing with him,
Yeah.
Management's letting us do more.
Oh, cool.
Take more chances.
I was wondering about that.
We had a nice... I did get a little guidance from the boss the other day. We did like 4 different topics in one break, and it was over 11 minutes. Remember a month ago he said 90 seconds or less, and then it was like, okay, if it's working, you can go a couple minutes. But we cranked an 11-minute bit out with 4 different elements to it, and it was all just rambling.
Really?
Because when we start talking and something gets traction, and I make them laugh, and we start going, we're supposed to do this. Okay, we do that bit, and he goes, and then that gets sidetracked. We start doing something else,
right?
And that gets legs, and that's something I should know better. But I'm just having so much fun after.
Yeah, but you get to
so
do that
long.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
exactly.
Nate, but
but that's this whole open air stream of consciousness. Let it go where it goes, man. It's priceless. This is great.
Yeah, we have a listener, Mike Nelson. I'm assuming it's Mike. It's MYK, and he's a sort of an avid follower of ours, similar to Byron.
That's a Russian spelling. Is he Russian?
It sounds like it.
Okay, yeah.
He's connected with Trump.
I just want to be a full disclosure that we are being listened to by a Russian.
Oh, I guarantee you.
I don't want that to come out later, and we didn't. We didn't acknowledge that.
All the talk
fully.
about Trump, we're on their radar, brother.
Yeah.
But he had mentioned this last week after hearing the last podcast that what he really loved was the insanity and the randomness of our show. And then Byron, our ever faithful Byron this week.
Our Florida campaign manager.
That is absolutely true.
Florida is our campaign chair in the state of Florida.
And man in the tower, Byron. Anyway, he said that what he really loved about the show this week was that we went from transgender kids to cockroaches to religion. And he said,
seems like a
basically,
natural.
He said,
that's
I don't
a
know
natural
how that's
flow.
possible, but that's what I like. So
that's a natural flow.
So thanks, guys, for listening and sharing our content. We're very happy about that. And for those of you that are listening to this, that you find anything remotely interesting, please share and subscribe. It would be nice to jump our subscriber base up and to see some additional downloads and gain some traction because, I got nothing else, man.
Hey, it's funny. One of the things that we're trying to figure out with Nate and I is show content, and we got these prep services, and you find the story of the girl in Florida who gave the 100-year-old man a lap dance and was charged with, misconduct, even though that's the happiest the guy's been.
And that's her job.
Hoover was in, that's her job as a senior caregiver.
See, I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
She's a senior caregiver?
Yeah, she's at a senior living facility, and she's a licensed caregiver. And she gave this guy a lap dance, and he's got dementia, and he doesn't remember asking for it now. So she's being charged. I think she should get the damn Employee of the Month.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a true story.
It's a true story.
He woke up in a sense in the middle of it, basically, right when his penis was half erect.
No, they taped it. They filmed it.
Oh,
who's
they?
Somebody. I don't know. The guy from. The guy from Silence of the Lambs, who the guy who works at the facility, right? That guy, same guy.
It rubs the lotion on its skin.
Not that guy.
Oh, not that guy.
I'm talking about the guy in the lab coat that led Clarice. Not that guy. The guy that led Clarice into the facility.
Oh, yeah.
The guy in the coat. The guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
The doctor.
Right. No, well,
who's overseeing everything.
Who's just trying to earn a living and feed his family. That guy. Maybe from the sequel of Silence, which was what, Hannibal?
Yeah.
Remember him? The guy who was collecting all the Hannibal artifacts and selling them online. Right. Right. That guy who filmed the medical assistant giving the 100-year-old a lap dance.
Well, I can't imagine that in a assisted care facility that they wouldn't have cameras in every room as well.
No, well, I think they might. No, they probably do. But let's remember that the seniors living in some seniors living in horrible conditions.
Oh.
And not every facility has the amenities necessary. Some probably do have film. Some probably don't have.
I would think
a
they
lot of
actually would
things.
require filming just because of the allegations of abuse and then the concerns for the individual. I mean, even
you would
past,
you would hope.
yeah, going past the allegations. I mean, just the welfare of, I don't know, a 95-year-old man with Alzheimer's. I would be very concerned he would get up in the middle of the night and walk out. You would think. I mean, I hate to say it, but you kind of lose some of your privacy when you're in a situation like that where you need care, right?
Well,
right. I mean, there is no time for masturbating,
No,
sir.
there's always
actually always time for masturbating,
especially at that phase of your life. I don't care if you got
nothing
I don't
else
care
to
if you got
do.
bingo scheduled or not.
Well, if you can
I don't
actually,
care if I've been trying all week
Okay.
to get to this, and now
just
it's
take
time.
more arginine.
It's time.
More arginine.
Anywho,
And it's good for your body too. It's it's an amino acid. So there you go.
nice.
Helps your blood.
It helps everything.
Yeah. Where were we?
I don't know. Senior living and masturbation.
Yeah.
What we're talking about gathering content
I
for
know,
Nate, and you were
yeah.
talking about the rambling and randomness of this podcast.
That people love it.
We're talking about gathering content for Nate and I, and I'm thinking that life experience is so much more relevant to people than a story about toast,
Yeah.
or a story about a lady in Florida who took it upon herself to put herself upon an older man.
Yeah.
There was a story yesterday. There was a survey done about how people eat their toast.
Clearly, you've eaten some toast.
About their
You're just gasping right now.
Am I?
I wasn't sure if you were okay. I thought maybe you were having a heart attack for a moment there.
I had a little
You
bit of coffee come
leaning
up.
towards the coffee
I
there.
was. Do you have it lightly toasted, darkly toasted, do heavily buttered, lightly buttered, cut sideways, cut diagonally? And I went off. I'm like, who the fuck? Really, people? We used it to segue into a promotion for our whiskey event, which was, when you hear this, last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the time to take a survey about toast, you need to put the phone down and get out of the house. You need to go right now and buy 2 tickets to whiskey.com. Blah, 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 blah.
Right, that's great.
Dude, who has time to take a toast survey?
That's pretty weird.
If you do, you really need help. You need someone to give you a lap dance at the senior living center. I mean, a toast survey.
Yeah, that's
This
pretty
is
out.
content for some people on their show. This is part of the prep services. My point being, life itself is prep service.
Right.
The content of what you do every day, the shit you see. I had to put my foot up I had the opportunity, I should say. I had the opportunity to put my foot up a postal employee's ass to get something done.
Sounds delicious.
It was a nice woman. My daughter's birthday was last week when you hear this, and I had sent her an overnight birthday present to New York, and it didn't get there on the day it arrived. The day before her birthday was supposed to arrive. It didn't get there. Guaranteed overnight delivery, insured, blah, blah, blah. So the next morning I'm curious and I'm online looking, and my phone gets text updated from the Postal Service, a great service. And I get a text, the package has been delivered. I go on the website, package has been delivered, was dropped off at the workplace at 11:30 a.m. So I text my daughter, hey, I see your package got there. And she's like, Daddy, it didn't get here. I'm work all morning. It's only me, and so it says someone accepted the package. She says, it's only me and the dishwasher and the blah, blah, blah here. She works 10 in bar in Brooklyn.
Right.
She's on day shift. She's like, it's not here. Nobody picked it up here. So I said, okay. She said, please find this. My boyfriend didn't even give me a birthday card. I really need, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so it's now my mission as a dad.
Right.
And this is my 28-year-old
Right.
now. Not the 13-year-old.
I love that she says daddy.
Yeah, I mean,
I love
totally. It never stops, people.
No,
Never,
it does not.
never stops.
My 25-year-old calls me daddy too.
So I have, and we talked about this on the air. I said, here's the scenario, and I had the opportunity to either, catch more flies with honey, or that gets the carrot or the stick. So I was at a crossroads. I needed to get something done, and I could either open a can on somebody, or I could go the other way. And I get this lady on the phone, and she's like, "Tell me blah blah." I said, "Ma'am, this is the story," and she's taking. And I was on hold for 40 minutes. Yeah. And there's no option. You can either wait on hold to speak to somebody because the website says it was delivered. There's no automated option.
How are you going to follow up on
I need
that
a human.
anyway?
Yeah. And I said this. I said, "Ma'am, let me tell you." I said, "Today's her birthday." I said, "And her boyfriend stiffed her. He totally dropped the ball. I need to find her birthday present. It can't be lost. I can't. She can't get stiffed by everybody. She lives 4,000 miles from home." And she's like, "Oh, man, let me see." And she was, give me a number to call you back. I'm gonna get into this. And She called the driver. She found out who had the package.
Wow.
She called the driver of the truck, found out where he inadvertently, mistakenly had dropped it off, sent him back to get it, and had him drive it to the right location and give it to my daughter.
Wow.
And we did that on the air.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, a postal worker.
So you weren't really up his ass.
No. But I was gonna. I was, God, I want my man. I could have.
Right.
I could have been the hardest call she had all month. Would have been easy for me to be the worst phone call she'd taken in a year. Right. But I didn't do that. I decided, and that's show content.
Yeah.
To me, that's relevant to people.
So you don't have any program managers saying? I mean, clearly you said. They kind of came up to you and said, "Hey, you guys went a little long."
Right.
Oh
yeah.
Do they actually ever provide you content?
Oh God, no.
I wouldn't think they would. But
well, that's in radio. That's not always the case. In fact, it's very rarely the case.
like show notes,
Right. I mean, there are prep services that we are subscribers to that give the kind of random today in history.
Right.
Blah,
right.
blah, blah. Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon was released on this day in
Danny
1971.
and Sarah in the morning when they do their news.
Right.
Florida.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And everybody gets those. So, I mean, Nate saw the story about a toast survey and didn't bother with it. I took it as an opportunity to say, God, get a fucking life.
Wow.
And that's what people can relate to, I hope.
Without the F.
No, I said fucking. That's funny. Oh,
Did they really
my
beep
God.
you?
No, I didn't do it.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Although I did call something a total dick move yesterday on air. That's a TDM.
Really?
Nate's go TDM, total dick move.
Wow,
and it was
you got away with it.
And it was you can say that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Sure.
Well, I know you can't. You could look the whole 7 words, right?
I'm trying to get a feature called "Eat a Bag of Dicks," where I take someone who's upset me and I want to offer them a bag of Dick's burgers. So
which is right in line with today's.
It is really
with
is
today's show.
Yeah, eat a bag of dicks, would you? And my boss like, they're not going to give you money at Dick's Burgers to say eat a bag of dicks. I don't care how you frame that or not. That's not going to work. I don't think the people who you want to tell to eat a bag of dicks. I don't think that's a reward for a job well done.
Sure,
that's a commentary on your view, your judgment of how they're doing their.
And if you do a great job, you can eat a bag of dicks.
Eat a bag of dicks. You know what you ought to do? Attorney General Sessions, you should eat a bag of dicks. That's what I think.
Wow.
So anyway, that's how we're having fun on the show.
Yeah, it sounds like
to give you a 10-minute answer to your 1-second question. We're having fun.
No, I guess I was just curious if the program director was like the program director in Good Morning Vietnam, where he was basically
nobody
freaked
should
out
ever.
constantly.
Nobody ever. Oh, Lieutenant Steve. Francie. Oh, Lieutenant Steve.
Yeah.
Nobody should ever.
Bruno was awesome. Though,
oh my God, he was brilliant.
He's
in that movie.
a great comedian.
He passed. He passed away.
Yeah,
Bruno Kirby
which is
passed
crazy.
away. Yep. That was that. I told you before. That's the movie that got me in radio.
I know.
That's the movie that said, you know what you do, you should do that.
Yeah.
For the things that make you happy and turn you on, that's where you should take those skills.
I love that. That. So without going down the political road, well, we probably will for a second now that I've touched on it. But
I did it first.
What's turning your screw this week on that? Is there anything out there?
It's all coming unraveled.
Yeah?
They're just pulling the threads. There's no way this can be sustained.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
So we were talking before we started the show that I was suggesting the idea. Let's not even talk about assassination here. I was suggesting the idea that Trump really doesn't want to be a president. Mm-hmm. What's your real thoughts on that? Is this an accident?
Did he think he would win? Did he run to win and lead the country?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I think he was, I think his ego, was thrilled at the possibility to be the most powerful man in the world. Of course, whose wouldn't? Yeah. And he has toyed with the concept of presidency numerous times in the past. He actually, I think he ran in a third-party candidate, or at least tested the waters a couple cycles ago.
Yeah.
And I think he got into this to market himself, to build his brand, and to show off what he's capable of doing in the way of media manipulation. And I think we all came to the realization through this cycle that media manipulation is probably the most powerful tool in an election. I mean, at least I came to that realization. I guess some smarter folks than I have known that for a long, long time, including Donald Trump, who I like to drive a bus over, but he is smarter than shit.
Yeah,
when it
absolutely.
comes to what he's smart at. He's got no idea how to do the job he won. I don't think he wants the job he won. I don't think he ran to win the job he won, to your question. I think he ran to feed his ego, build his brand, and show off. And that turned into a snowball of decimating a field of horrifically weak candidates on the Republican side. I mean, they trotted up some absolute zeros. And I'm, me,
No
I don't
experience,
believe in that vision for America, the conservative vision for America of exclusion and religious-based laws, which I love religion. I think it's a I do. I think it's a saving grace of society. I think any progress and any evolution of society has been religious-based.
You can't use the word evolution.
Oh, sorry. I mean evolution.
This is a new government.
I don't mean evolution in the sense of we all came from monkeys
or dinosaurs.
I mean,
or
as we grow
whatever, right.
and we evolve as a species, when we become civilized.
How about evolve as a nation?
As a nation? Well, I mean, even further back, all civilized life.
Yeah.
It's the frickin' golden rule, man. It's do unto others. It's what keeps us from. It's what keeps us from raping and pillaging. I mean, religion has served its purpose and continues to do so every day of everybody's life.
Yeah.
Of course, like all things, it can be perverted and misused.
Absolutely.
And that's and there are evidence
as anything can be, right?
Evidence all across the spectrum of every religious belief has evidence to both points. So that being said, I know I'm not a big conservative political guy. But the field was incredibly weak.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some advocates for that perspective of American life that are honorable and worthy, but none of them were running for president this time.
Yeah.
Because everyone thought Hillary Clinton was going to cakewalk this shit, and nobody wanted to run against Hillary. Yeah. It was, and I think that's true on both sides.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
I love Martin O'Malley, former governor of my home state of Maryland. But he's not a national leader. He wasn't on the national stage.
Right.
And Bernie got in there just to get some talking points out.
Right.
And
that was a wise move on his part.
And the reason he did it was smart, and the fact that he gained traction was smart. I don't think he thought he would go as far as he did either.
No.
No one. I think people underestimated the vitriol felt for the Clinton legacy.
Yeah.
And the Clinton brand, which was a damaged brand.
Yeah. To me, it blows me away that as much vitriol as there was, but there was still so much political fear to rise up, if you will, against her or to try to put yourself shoulder to shoulder, because so many people thought on the Democratic side that there was no way that they could secede her. And granted,
it was a foregone conclusion.
They probably wouldn't have,
right.
but they could have put the feelers out, right? It's I can't remember the gentleman's name who ran for governor here a few years back. The East Side Republican, and he did it twice.
Black hair?
Yeah.
Young guy?
I know you know who I'm talking
I do.
about. I can't think of it.
I went to his rallies, too.
Yeah. And he had some really decent talking points, but what kind of blew me away was that he didn't come back a third time when I thought he had really sort of
finally got
wisely
some
positioned himself.
Yeah.
And granted, I think Sanders is too old for that, and granted, he might prove us wrong in 2020, but that's what it takes. There is no such thing as I mean, the Clinton thing in '92 was so rare to come in as the dark horse and then to win the presidency without nobody knowing who he was.
That's exactly what Obama did.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We haven't met the next president yet. We haven't met him.
I agree.
We haven't met him yet.
I agree.
And anybody who's kind of just drives me nuts. These Trumpers drive me nuts. They just drive me nuts.
The knee jerk is what I am afraid of, and we've talked about this in a past podcast as well. My fear, really, I shouldn't say fear. My general concern and potential disdain for what happens to our country in the next 4 years would be that the knee-jerk reaction to Trump would be so strong in the opposite way that you, as a Democrat or left-leaning person, would say, "Holy crap, I don't know, man!" Right? Like you would just be even taken out of your element. Because Trump, obviously, we know is not a conservative.
Never has been.
But he's whipped up that juicy spit frenzy on the right.
They allowed that dragon to lead their parade.
So what's going to happen when the rubber band springs the opposite way? That's my point.
Well, that's all things. It's always a pendulum swing.
Right.
We always overcome.
It's got to come back towards the middle. Man.
Yeah, it does. Well, the middle's been vilified and destroyed.
Yeah.
Compromise has been vilified and destroyed. statesmanship.
Yeah.
The
thing that makes our country great.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the things that were allowed our forefathers our founding fathers to build what they built was compromise and, statesmanship. And they got primaried out.
Yeah.
People who were even willing to speak to the other side of the aisle were primaried out of existence by a Tea Party movement.
Yeah.
And now that Tea Party movement has been the inspiration for what is the resistance movement of the left. They see that a ground game works.
It's frustrating and disconcerting.
Yeah, I don't think to another 20-minute answer to your 2-second question. Trump didn't want the gig. He can't believe he has it. He's unqualified for it.
Yeah.
He surrounded himself with the wrong people, and I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form from the Republican Party. I don't mean that the conservative movement of the Republican Party, which is in whether it be Congress or governorship across the country. When you surround yourself with the cabinet of Donald Trump, that is nothing but, I don't even say oligarchs, but it's kind of what it is when it's Wall Streeters and billionaires and people who don't want anything to do. Steve Bannon, who says he wants to dismantle the system.
Yeah.
He goes on to the CPAC conference and says, we're here to dismantle the establishment.
You know too much. I literally glaze over when you say
I know. Well, I mean, there's a reason that we've
blow me
survived.
away.
There's a reason that we've survived almost 250 years because it's the best system that's ever been. It's not perfect, but it's the best system that's ever been discovered. For people to think that they have a better plan than fucking Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and Alexander Hamilton and Ben Franklin, fucking step off.
Yeah.
You do not have the mental acumen to deal with these legends and their care.
Right.
About a populace and a nation. You don't care enough to invest enough of your limited IQ points to think you know better.
Yeah.
To dismantle this system. Are you fucking kidding?
How hard do you think it would have been for somebody like President Lincoln to gain any traction against slavery or anything that was going on during the Civil War if Facebook had existed in 1865? I mean, it would have been just nigger this, nigger that, right? Really.
It was. To be fair, social media, as we have it, is just quicker. The misinformation campaigns, the fake news, has always been a part of American politics. There were barons who ran newspapers who informed the populace to whatever political viewpoint they wanted the populace to do, and that swung elections.
Yeah.
I mean, you could when there was one newspaper being printed, and you could write where the fuck you wanted to in the newspaper. There's a reason the old adage is there's a reason you can buy newsprint never take on a newspaper because they buy ink by the barrel.
Right.
That's the old adage.
Yeah. I remember that.
You can speak the truth and you're buried in an avalanche of misinformation or falsehoods or fake news, if you will.
Yeah.
It's always been there. Could Lincoln have done this in his day? He did.
Yeah, that's true.
To our point, he did.
Wanted posters that were drawn incorrectly, right?
Of course.
Those people didn't look like the people that did the work.
God, man,
right?
come on.
I've seen wanted posters of Jesse James and his gang, the James gang, and there's nothing like the photos I've seen of them.
Not at all.
I have a really weird story about the James gang. It was, at least it's been told to me, and I don't know how much truth there is in this, but I was told that one of the James gang's members, I don't believe it was Jesse or Frank.
Joe Walsh?
No. It would have been, but I think this was just right before the Eagles. Actually stole my great grandfather's horse in Arkansas in the late 1800s before they were shut down with a bullet. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because stealing a horse was
it's a hanging offense.
Absolutely.
Oh, you bet it was, because a horse was life.
Yeah.
Your horse was your life.
Yep. You couldn't get to the watering hole.
You couldn't do anything. You couldn't plow your field. You couldn't do anything with without a horse.
So we are on Facebook Live.
Hello, Facebook Live.
And the moment we went on, it was so funny to watch you switch because you're so good on the radio. Yeah. And I mean, you're great. You're great like this too. Okay. No, you are. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Scott Adams said Joe Walsh and the James gang.
He laughed, right?
All right, bro. But no, it was funny because like the moment it turned on, your eyes started doing this. Like, are you messing with me or are we?
No, I caught what you were doing.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So we're still trying to figure this out. I have no idea how to do this on the Spike and Jones page, but look at Scott. Look at that big mic. See how sexy that is.
God, you're just wrong. He's wrong.
Here, you hold it for a second.
I don't know how.
Just hold it and point it at what you want it to.
Okay.
What you want it to see.
Rob's not here anymore. How about that? Hi, everybody.
Oh, hey, Kevin. I just saw Kevin rolled up on there. So
Okay.
Kevin Lynch runs the Quell Foundation in Massachusetts. And I would tell you, I'm not going to speak for him. Listen to the Rockstar Superhero podcast. I believe it's number 4 I did with him last year. But check out thequellfoundation.org online, and you'll see the great work they're doing for mental health. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Does he have the president's phone number?
He does.
The Pennsylvania Avenue phone number?
Actually,
you can call the White House.
Actually,
They're
does.
taking calls again this week. It's limited time only, because once the avalanche starts, the phone calls, they'll shut that shit down again like they did last time.
I don't
Anyway.
think Kevin is going to be happy that I said he does, but he does.
Okay. They should have Kevin on speed dial at
He's
the White
an
House these days.
influencer. I actually met Kevin years ago. We were both on the Andrew Jackson, which is a nuclear submarine based in Groton, Connecticut, and it was my first and only submarine. And he was an old hat by the time I met him. I think he'd been in the service like 5 or 6 years at the time, and a great guy. Yeah. Tall, big, scarier than hell.
A submariner?
Submariner. Taller than me.
Damn.
And was a great cook.
My uncle was a submariner, by the way.
Yeah.
And
he's done really incredible, important things. So it's been a lot of fun. So I'll steal this back.
You please do, because my wrist hurts.
And
that's not my strong wrist.
Kevin says funny. Scott says so hot. That's great.
Yeah, great.
All right, we love you guys.
That's the end of our Facebook.
Yeah,
when the boys are saying so hot and the girls are tuning out, it's time to close the page.
So with that finish.
Homophobic where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
That was great. Ending live video. And now
end career
the replay.
Simultaneously.
Yeah, well, fortunately, you will save us. I love this. Scott Adams wrote, awkward conversation equals good reminder that when your calendar is open, people look at it. I don't think that has to do with us, but interesting that he posted that online at the same time that we're on the air.
Yeah, he's looking for anything entertaining while we're...
Exactly. So,
have I got a meeting I could be going to or something? Is there a? Am I supposed to be in a think tank somewhere?
Phase?
Yeah.
So you came up with an interesting Deep Six topic last week in the middle of our other Deep Six topic, and it's something you had touched on a number of times actually in the past. In fact, when we first met, you even said, I hold grudges. I don't let them go.
Yeah.
And you're literally talking to the guy that when you told me, Rob, let's Deep Six this, I went, I don't got one. I mean, I've had moments where I've gone through.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I even went onto Facebook this morning and said, can anybody tell me when I've held a grudge? I literally asking people.
Interesting.
Because I've had periods where I've been very, very upset with people. I mean, like way more upset, I guarantee you, than you've probably ever been in your life. I'm literally the guy who, then time bomb, massive explosion, 5 minutes of pure vitriol, and then the berserker mode goes away, and I'm good.
Well, that's healthy.
So tell us
it's my turn.
Why did you bring this up? And then I'm sure I'll have something to piggyback on.
It's funny. We were talking about. You said I've mentioned it repeatedly throughout the course of these podcasts that I'm a grudge holder. But it's funny. I would never describe myself as what are my core traits and beliefs and whatnot. I would hope that grudge and revenge wouldn't be part of that, but it too often is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's. I think when I said to you we should talk about grudges and revenge, and I think. I was hoping we could debate their merit, their health risks of them, the wisdom in them, because there's no upside.
No, there's zero.
Bullshit. There's a ton of upside to grudges.
Really?
Ton.
This is coming from a guy who has no grudges.
I know.
I have no
That's
idea.
cool. See, and that's healthier. I mean, you've heard the phrase, anger is like taking poison, waiting for somebody else to die, right?
Sure.
I mean, you've heard that, right?
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's true. But I would offer this counter. Grudges are karmatic payback for being a shithead. Okay,
so this is about deserve, and deserve's got nothing to do with it.
Well, I don't know, man. I think grudges are childish. Grudges are immature. Grudges are emotion based.
They're human.
They are human, but which means they're flawed by nature. I think that grudges stem from passion. If you don't have a passionate belief in something, why the would you bother to hold a grudge?
Sure.
Wouldn't matter to you. If it didn't matter to you, who cares? Let it go. You know, you don't. I'm not a revenge guy.
Okay.
Which means, and because I thought about that too, grudges are one thing, revenge is acting upon them, right?
Yeah,
Is that the
absolutely.
play out of that?
I love revenge movies, though.
Well, yeah, revenge movies are great. Revenge guys hold grudges. A compelling plot is always interesting. I don't forget being wronged, ever. And I think that's because I was raised in a culture where family and friends and community were everything.
You protected
And
your life.
yeah, and it was, you got to close ranks.
Yeah.
And when somebody has wronged you or someone you know or someone you care about, that person has given away the right to be forgiven.
Right.
They've given up the right to get away with it and not have it come back to haunt them, bite them in the ass. Paybacks are a bitch. Karma's a mother.
Yeah.
I believe in all that shit. I'm embarrassed by that to a degree.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that. Although I do revel in a couple grudges that I will hold till the day I die. There's no point in naming them or I know. Well,
I kind of want to talk about them. I know one of them, and I know you don't want to talk about that at all.
I don't. But there's a few, But, when I was selling cars, a mailman said something to me, and it bears true to this day about everything. So when you do something nice for someone, they'll tell somebody. Mm-hmm. People like to share good news. When you do something wrong,
they'll tell everybody.
Exactly. They'll make it their life's mission to tell everybody. So it's not people like to spread good news, but they love to spread bad news.
Yeah.
They do. It's just human nature. It makes us feel better about ourselves when we can run down somebody else.
So do you have
That's
a reputation?
Psychology. Do I have for being a grudge holder?
Yeah. Outside of your family.
Probably. I'm not aware of it. I like to think that I go through life in the good graces of the people I've met.
How about in the industry?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's cool.
So
you never really brought it here?
No. I haven't been. I've only been wronged. Oh God, how dainty of me.
Oh, you're a delicate flower.
I know. I'm such a delicate.
My little
I've been
spiky.
wronged. I've very few professional grudges.
Right.
Most of them are very personal.
Yeah.
Most of them are family based. Somebody who puts my kids in a bad spot. I'm never letting that one go.
Yeah.
Come on, ever. Someone who's, harmed my parents, my wife, my brother.
Well, there wouldn't be grudge there. There would be destruction.
Well,
On
but
my side,
but no,
there
I
would
feel you. I feel you. But I'm not going to go out of my way to extract revenge or to seek revenge.
See, I'm that guy.
But I'm never letting it go. When the opportunity comes up to mend fences or to move past it, I won't. I don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't deserve. Some people don't deserve a second chance. Some people do.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do to a point, but some things you don't come back from. I guess my grudges are to a matter of degree.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you've done something so dire and drastic to someone I care about, that's it. The bridge is burned.
Yeah.
It's not just broken; it's done. It's down.
That's the stuff I don't think we talk about I don't have grudges. I don't have them. Mm-hmm. But I definitely am very much wrongly. I have acted on situations like that where I've seen somebody hurt somebody that I love or care for, whether it's verbally or physically. And
have you forgiven those people? Have you moved on?
My actions are so extreme and swift and brutal that
grudge isn't an option.
There is no.
You've already gone on to revenge.
I just clear the palate.
Good for you.
I go straight to dismemberment.
Yeah,
and
I hear you. Maybe I just have never gotten.
There's no bodies buried in Eastern Washington.
Okay.
But I mean,
they're all in Eastern Oregon. Smart move.
Exactly. Yeah. It's actually Cody, Wyoming. But
man, crabs got to eat too. You know what I'm saying to you?
No, I really don't have that. I think probably, seriously, Spike, it's out of fear. Going back to that daddy issue thing we've talked about before, I think I want people to love me so much that I have eaten a lot of crow, and not Gary, but a lot of crow, where I've just taken it because to me it was better to just let it go and to hopefully remain friends, even though they were probably never friends to begin with. They were maybe just not even, they were barely acquaintances, but I wanted them in my life so much to feel as though I was valuable that I was afraid to cut it off at the knees or to hold that grudge.
Okay. I would venture to put out there that I'm the same way. Yeah. I think the majority of my interactions with people have been of the same set of guidelines.
Like fear-based?
Where everything's fear-based. Yeah. Everything.
I guess I'm trying not to be.
No, we all try not to be. You ever see the movie Defending Your Life?
Yes, of course.
Brilliant piece of work, and it is the essence of humanity.
I'm the guy that gets eaten by a lion.
Right. I mean, it's a great movie.
Yeah,
it's a great Albert Brooks. Meryl Streep, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, Miss Meryl Streep. Did you see the Oscars, by the way? Sidebar. That's what people love.
I didn't. What people love. I don't have TV.
Yeah.
And I was actually trying to find a way to, sneak it online. You know what I mean? Like through some weird website, but I could never find it. And then finally I was like, I don't care. And then I heard about the
envelope was nothing.
Carbuncle
that
at
was
the end.
Nothing. Well, I mean, that was actually monstrous and funny, but Jimmy Kimmel's monologue had some flat out fucking brilliance in it.
I gotta watch that. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, and I don't see this for political blah 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 blah. You know what? If artists can't speak their mind, then why bother to be an artist?
Absolutely.
They don't just to convey laughs to you or heartbreak to you or danger to you or heroics to you. They should also be allowed, given the fact that that's their livelihood, to dictate morality to you or their opinions to you.
Yeah.
Morality. That's who the fuck am I? But Jimmy Kimmel made this comment, and I will butcher it, and I apologize. It's worth going to see about overrated Meryl Streep. Mm-hmm. You know, about this. She has phoned it in over 50 movies. I mean, that's such a Trump slam.
Yeah,
brilliant. In fact, Meryl wasn't even in a movie this year. We just nominated her out of habit. I mean, it was fucking genius. It's brilliant. It's brilliant political commentary through satire and through comedy.
Yeah.
And that's how you make progress. And, comedy will save us as a nation.
Yeah.
God, watch Seth Meyers. He's doing the best work of his career.
Yeah.
Because he's got such a target to be comedy about. I mean,
and very sharp wit and very dry.
And smart cowboy, man, I mean, everybody's giving Trump a reach around because he managed to read on the level of a fifth grader and not lose his top for an hour. And everybody's like, we've turned a corner. He's presidential. He's set a new tone. And, it's easy to go back and find the 35 different instances where that exact same thing was said in late 15, early 16, late 16, early 17. Yeah. He's turned a corner. He's act presidential. Are you people kidding? Did you forget? Wait till he tweets out tomorrow morning some asinine shit sandwich that he's a 70-year-old. Somebody said, 70-year-old men don't get less cranky and racist. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
When you hit 70, you are who you are.
I can't imagine waking up in the morning and using Twitter as a platform as the president of the United States and quote unquote leader of the free world.
I can't believe we allow it.
I know.
I can't believe that we've settled so much. And not to be political, but I can't believe you're talking about a grudge holder. That motherfucker's a grudge holder.
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about how dangerous grudges are on a political scale? When you come on and you tweet about some company because they dropped your daughter's thing. I mean, you're fucking people's livelihood.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tanked stocks for companies because he says some flippant, uninformed, top of mind.
Well, it's an opinion.
It is, but he's now the leader of the free fucking world.
I know.
And you can't come out there and say,
heavily.
We're going to renegotiate with Boeing because we pay too much for our planes. Not having any idea about why the cost of Air Force One was what it was.
Yeah.
The cost of Air Force One is because the Secret Service and the Defense Department need it to do certain things, like kill from space.
Yeah.
And that's not something Boeing has a hand in. So when you run Boeing down that we're paying too much for airplanes and Boeing stocks take a dip, that affects real Americans more than building a fucking wall does.
Yeah, the thing that scares me the most about everything that's going on in this world right now, and at least in relation to my friends that are very, very conservative, and again, knowing me as very much a moderate, slightly conservative.
You are. You're a compassionate conservative.
That extreme leaning doesn't see one flaw. Yeah. That blows my mind. But that would be the same problem that I would have seen with people who were so left leaning that they couldn't see Obama clearly making mistakes when he did. And granted, I get it. That vocal minority is very, very vocal. But why do they have to be my friends? Because it drives me crazy.
When I said,
come on, he's making mistakes.
When I said earlier that the Trumpers are driving me crazy, that's exactly the thought. That's exactly the line I was going.
Yeah. He's not perfect.
Well, he's not even. Well,
I know. I get your point. But I mean, they should be looking at him and going, okay, he's clearly making some mistakes, and he's picking some bad people, and he's doing some dumb things.
When a Navy SEAL is killed in a mission that was greenlighted by the president, and numerous women and children are killed from the other side, and a $75 million helicopter is destroyed on the ground so it doesn't fall in enemy hands, you don't come out of there and call it a success. And then when your defense, your military community comes out and says that no valuable intelligence was gained from this, you don't continue to call it a success, and you certainly don't lay it at the feet of the guy who's left office.
Yeah.
You don't lay it at the feet of your generals, which he did. And they can backspin it, and they can try to talk around. Well, what he meant to say when he said they lost them, they weren't talking about the generals. They were talking about the soldiers on the ground. They're a brotherhood. I saw some political pundit trying to spin it that way. Like, bullshit. Yeah. It was the commander-in-chief not taking responsibility for a mission that he greenlit over dinner with his fucking propaganda minister, Bannon, and his son-in-law over dinner.
But look what happened to Carter.
Not in the Situation Room,
right? With
generals, with weighing options and costs and consequence. They measure success in loss of innocent life. That's how you measure success: loss of military personnel and loss of innocent life, not whether or not you got a roaring success.
Well, okay, so I'm going to stop you as my friend.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop you.
I know.
Because I served in the military for 7.5 years. No. And
I've never served a day in my life, so I have no right to that opinion.
Oh, no, you
I know.
Have the right
but that's I love hearing that shit too.
Yeah.
I never served. Okay.
So I served for 7.5 years. No, I wasn't a SEAL. I actually joined because I wanted to be a SEAL. I really did, and I thought there was a way. And I think
ball on my nose.
I think I've shared this before.
Respect.
That I wanted to do it, and I was kind of talked out of it through the recruiting process and go down a different road, and I got stuck on subs, and it was good kind of stuck, but still.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Anyway, long story short is I do know a few of those guys, not well, and knew of a lot of them, if you will. I was on the same base that one of the SEAL teams was on, in the amphibious base in Norfolk, Virginia, and so I got to talk to a number of these guys. And the one thing that I found was satisfyingly consistent across the board was they were all, whether you call it brainwashing or not, they were all absolutely ready to serve the mission, die for the country, of everybody I've ever met in the service.
Sure.
These were the guys that were actually willing to truly die for their job. And to them, the only success was the end result of the mission. So in other words, if the president said, I order you, SEAL Team 5 to go to Seattle, Washington and execute Spike O'Neill while he's on the radio, and you have to get out with his body. The only way as a success is if they actually did those things, because they in that situation would want the country or whomever was listening to you, say you were the bad guy,
right.
They would want your listenership to know that you were executed, that you were not untouchable,
right.
And that then they were going to take your body and they were going to defile it and cut it up into pieces,
right.
and send
Sure.
it to the four corners of Ireland, right?
Right, sure.
Right?
No, I hear you.
So freedom. So
Scotland, but I love your cause.
Oh, excuse me.
That's okay. No.
Damn.
I was right there with you.
First of the
wrong
answer.
You made it personal.
You're wearing off on
You
me.
made it personal.
Yeah, exactly.
You did. That's good.
I was thinking of that. Yeah.
No. I hear you.
So hang on.
Okay.
So the sad truth inside that community is there is no political correctness inside that community, which basically says that we at all costs must meet the objective. So that if that meant destroying, I'm telling you, whether they say it out loud or not.
Okay, so
I'm saying if you're the mission and there's 45 CBS employees, they're going to kill every one of them to get to you.
I don't know that I can. You would know better than I, but I don't know that I can believe that.
That happened
You're telling me
Osama bin Laden.
they didn't kill any kids.
No. They killed an awful lot of people that
they did.
You don't know who they killed. And I'm telling you, dude, we cut off our heads behind a curtain. The only difference between us and terrorism, quotes, is they do it on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
We just do it behind the scene rendition. You saw the movie Rendition.
I did, but
it's just like that.
But
and
that being
they do
said,
that every freaking day, dude.
That being said, the outrage and embarrassment
and you should be
shame
outraged
of torture campaign.
Yeah, I agree.
Under the last Republican
Gotta
administration,
break some eggs to make that omelet. I'm just telling you.
I know.
I know you know it's true.
I hear you.
Nobody likes it, but they do it. Pink mist, baby.
I know.
All day freaking long. You are trained. And so
are you saying that in the closed ranks of the military community, a mission that 10 civilians, women and children were killed and a SEAL was lost and a helicopter went down?
Fair trade.
For relatively useless information. Fair trade?
Absolutely.
I don't want to be that guy.
I know. I'm telling you right now, fair trade. It sucks.
Well, okay.
I
hear you. There are missions that rise to that level.
If a SEAL listens to this, send us a PM. We'll have you on the show. I'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah, there's a reward that rises to the level of that risk. 'Cause it's all risk reward, right?
Yeah.
When you weigh whether or not to greenlight a mission, you measure risk reward. I can't believe that mission could be called a success.
Okay, so let's go back to 1979 when Carter owned, maybe it's 80, I guess. Carter owned the failed mission to save the hostages in Tehran, right? The 2 helicopters went down, and almost everybody, not everybody died, but excuse me. That was obviously not seen as a success because we didn't save our hostages.
Right.
But it was definitely profiled as a heroic attempt.
Sure.
And
because
so
that mission demanded heroic measures.
Right. So I guess what I'm trying to say is anything can be spun any which way depending on who gets there first.
But that was never spun as a success. It couldn't have been spun.
It wasn't
in any
spun
way,
as a
shape, or
success,
form.
but it was spun as heroic.
Granted, and
those guys just died.
And I think any mission. I know. I think any mission.
They didn't die heroically.
Heroic.
Yeah.
I know, but I think any effort to that where you put your life on the line for your nation is heroic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I never served, but my dad did. My uncles did. I was blessed to be raised in a period of peace where my service wasn't required. People who joined the service when we were growing up were serving in peacetime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was an easier decision to make than it is today.
Yeah,
I would think, and I have. Of course, everybody has respect for the military. You should.
Yeah.
They're doing more than I ever could. I tried to join the military, wasn't allowed in.
Yeah,
but that's another whole.
Is that because of your 2 testicles?
No, it was prior to. It was funny. No, we'll tell that story someday.
Okay.
I had both nuts back then.
Oh, that's
it was pre-cancerous.
That's right.
But I'm sorry to go down this rabbit hole of politics
it's okay.
again.
30 years ago this summer, I joined the Navy. 30 freaking years ago. 30.
It would have been for me in the 85, probably a little more than 30 years ago. I tried. Yeah. I tried to join the military.
What did you try to join?
Air
I know
Force.
You're not going to tell the whole story.
No, I tried to join the Air Force.
Okay.
And I had I'll tell it's a quick.
Let's save that.
It's a quick story.
Okay.
I tried to join the Air Force and had a failure to appear in court on my record, and they required me to clear waivers.
Yeah.
And I was going through the waiver, and I may have told you this once. I was going through the waiver clearing process. And I think I did tell you this. I took the ASVABs and crushed them.
Yep.
And I had a recruiter from my office who showed my ASVAB scores to a Navy recruiter. And Navy recruiter started reaching out to me about joining the Navy's nuke program. Put me on a fucking sub.
We did talk about this because that's what they wanted me to do.
Yeah, and the Navy, and I'm trying to clear waivers, and I'm getting a letter from Congressman Paul Sarbanes, my local congressman in Maryland, about clearing blah 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 clear waivers. And I got in this Navy guy one morning, woke me up from after working until 3 a.m, tending bar, woke me about 7:30 a.m. and asked me why the fuck I wouldn't just join the Navy. Are you gonna be a fucking bartender all your life? To make something of yourself? Yada yada yada. The Air Force don't want you. I want you. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what, motherfucker, you're right. I may join the Navy, but it will never be anywhere near you. Don't ever call me again. And I was done. I was done trying to get in the Air Force at that point. I'm like, you know what, screw it.
The only thing
going back
I
to
regret
bed
about the
smoking more
Navy was
weed.
having to wear the whites. I
whites.
hated that.
Yeah.
You look like an ice cream man. I hated it. The blues are gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful uniform.
I had two uncles in
but
the
the Marines that's the one. I mean, to me, that's the one. And I don't know.
Well, anyway, I torched up a guy on Facebook this morning, as I like to do, which is dangerous in my profession because you can't. But some, people, this is Obama's mission, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, buck stops here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Leadership is leadership.
I just wish he would do
Kennedy
something
owned the Bay of
presidential.
Pigs, Kennedy
do
owned
something presidential.
above Reed at a fucking fifth grade level,
Yeah.
which is how we got here in the first place on this half hour, wasted, no fun half hour of radio.
Okay, so
podcast.
I do want to say this really quick because I've been thinking about this. I saw a comment this morning talking about how Trump had.
Can we pause?
Oh,
Come back
gosh, here we are.
It's my band, and I got a moment.
The Spike and Jones podcast is graciously sponsored by Justin Richards, founder and principal at Team Richards Realty Group in Bellevue, Washington. When the average agent you meet on the street sells fewer than 4 homes a year, experience matters. Justin and his team rely on more than 30 years combined experience, multiple financial market up and down swings, and hundreds of properties sold when advising their clients on their next sound investment or pricing a home for sale. Their goal is always very simple. Achieve the best home price results in a time frame that suits your needs, all with the least amount of stress to you as a buyer or seller. For more information, visit teamrichardsrealty.com. That's TEAMRICHARDSREALTY.com or call Justin Richards at 425-765-8088. And now, on with the podcast. So we're back here. Spike had to take a very, very important emergency call, and here we are, and neither of us can remember where we were. I know we were talking about military and, I don't know, talking about the
risk
SEALs
reward
and
and blah, blah, blah.
and Carter.
And we're talking about owning your mistakes and taking responsibility, and we've gone through the whole bit about the...
Yeah.
I want to apologize to everybody listening to this that I get so spun up in this shit, but it's
okay.
You're
real. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
So let's do the grudge thing. I know, we maybe don't have a lot on it today, but I will tell you, I will say this about grudges. I'm not, again, clearly I've said it, I'm not a grudge guy. But am I a revenge guy.
I'm envious of you for that. I really am, because I brag about holding grudges, and that's stupid, and that's not healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the wisdom or the idiocy of a grudge. I get the wisdom of letting shit go.
Yeah.
But I guess I was raised in an environment where you don't let people off the hook when they've earned a hook.
Yeah.
If some people have, like I said, that bridge is burned. There are people that will never get my respect or love or even, I won't even give them a time of day. I'll never give them another chance because they've done something so callous and so, bad. That's no.
I think I'm really good at apologizing.
Yeah.
And then again,
You want to tell me something?
well, not really.
Okay.
But what I used to do, dude. I mean, when my wife hears this, she'll come over to me and probably hit me in the balls. But
You're lucky.
we would get in an argument.
Balls,
and,
plural.
Yeah.
You get in an argument.
We get in an argument, and I just thought, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to feel like this. And so even, and I'm not saying I'm always right, because I am so not always right. But I would just go up to her and say, look, I'm sorry. I mean, even if I absolutely felt completely in the right, because to me, I want to dilute the situation. I want to diffuse the situation.
Sure.
I want to take all the vitriol and anger and frustration. Plus, I kind of want to get laid.
Yeah. We've all been there. We've all apologized when we weren't wrong.
I can't believe I just said that.
No, come on. It's an honesty.
My wife
based.
and my mom are just.
It's an honesty-based assessment. Come on.
Stop.
It's funny. I guess I was going to say, when you were saying that, there are some people that I will never hold a grudge against, because they've earned my forgiveness. You think of your wife, your partner at that point,
right?
There's nothing she could do that would burn the bridge.
No.
Come on.
I mean, I've
Your
certainly been
kids-
highly upset
kids
with
the same
her.
way.
Yeah,
Of course,
absolutely.
I've been so pissed off you can't see straight.
Right.
But then it's a math problem at that point. It's a scales issue, and it's an easy call to make. The scales are heavily tipped in her favor at that point. There's nothing she can throw on the other side of the scale to tip it against her favor. But that being said, I think what sets a grudge up for life for me is when somebody is that they hurt you because you care so much.
Yeah.
You can get pissed, but it doesn't matter because they don't matter. But when they matter and they hurt and they betray, that's when the hook is set deep. And you can't pull that hook out. That hook's never coming out.
Yeah.
That grudge is never going away. I mean, that's just deep-seated. And I love that kind of grudge.
You should see his face.
I keep vacillating between how bad it is that I hold grudges and how good they feel. Because I mean, there's
it's very fleshy.
There's a couple, three in my life that I could rattle off, with my dying breath. I'd be able to give you every detail. And those people will never get my love. They'll never get my respect. They'll never get another chance.
Huh.
Never. And
Really? They couldn't come back and fix it?
Nope.
Really?
You've hurt the ones I love. You've caused emotional and physical pain
Really?
to the ones I love. Yeah, and you ain't coming back from that ever. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Wow.
And that was a hard F.
Yeah, no,
It was
I
a
heard
capital
it.
F
It was
on
a
that
big
one.
F.
Yeah.
In fact, there might have been a big U as well.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it might have been a capital U too. I might have a heavy thumb when it comes to the the tab button there. The Control Delete button.
No, I understand that. I mean, going back to the revenge thing. I certainly don't joke about this, but I would very clearly state that if somebody were to physically assault my wife or my children in pretty much any way, shape, or form, it's beyond hell to pay.
Oh yeah.
I'll tape you to the floor, pull follicles, cut tips of fingers. And I really have thought about this.
You're gonna go medieval.
I will go medieval. I literally will.
You are Marcellus Wallace.
Bring,
you bet.
yeah.
Yep.
Two
Some pipe wielding
pipe smoking
and a
niggas
blowtorch.
and a blowtorch. Yeah. Sorry, I'm using the N word today, but it's from a movie.
Pipe wielding.
Pipe wielding.
It wasn't smoking. They were bringing.
Oh, that's right.
Pipe,
Pipe wielding. That's
pipe
right.
Wielding is in a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Get medieval in your ass. You bet.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna tip Mr. Rapist here.
And I'm gonna Mr. Hillbilly Rapist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
So good.
I'm your buddy with a pickup truck and a bag of lime and a shovel.
Really?
That's where the bodies go. Lime. You see somebody at Home Depot with a bag of lime and a shovel in the checkout aisle and a bad look on their face.
Yeah.
They got evil in mind. They got evil.
So when the next unsolved murder happens in the Seattle area, it's going to be like, we need to talk to Spike and Jones.
Well, you need to just go check our Home Depot receipts for a bag of lime and a shovel.
Yeah, that's the one thing I can't. I mean,
These idiots
I would
who
go
get
to jail.
caught.
I'd
Come
go
on,
to jail.
idiots
No, I
who
mean,
get
everybody
caught.
would know I wielded revenge. They would, because I'd probably stand on the rooftop and say,
There
that
are
guy
some-
that
yep,
died, that
there
was
are some
me.
things I would take that for as well. You're right. Somebody hurts my kid. I don't care.
Yeah.
Unless my kid needs me.
Yeah.
If God forbid.
I'm Brad Pitt in Seven.
God
I'm
forbid.
ending this.
You ever see the tape of the father in the airport?
Oh yeah,
Guy
yeah,
raped
yeah,
and murdered his
yeah,
son.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
walking
yeah,
back,
yeah.
being extradited back, and he's on a
Kabam.
payphone. Could
Yep.
drop. There it is. I'm done.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
You bet your ass I
Walk
would.
me out. I
In a
don't care.
heartbeat.
I
In
did
a
it. Yep.
heartbeat. Revenge is. I don't. There are the people that I give that hard F to, and never coming back from. I'm not going to waste my time on revenge with them.
Yeah.
So that being said, they haven't done something to my family or loved ones that merits that level.
But they've wronged you.
Yeah, they've wronged them, and they've caused grief and pain and suffering to my friends and family. And to a degree, it's so at that point, I'm not going to ever let what's her bucket off the hook. I'm not ever letting that one off the hook because they.
What's her bucket?
That's
whomever, great how you put that.
That one's not. That's never coming back for me. And this one over there who betrayed somebody I cared deeply about.
Yeah, I understand.
They're done. I don't. Yeah. Do they regret? Yeah. Are they sorry? Sure.
I didn't know there was betrayal in that. I thought it was more just kind of selfish choices.
Absolutely, there were selfish, and you know the situation I'm talking about. So we won't give specifics or names. It was a selfish choice, but it was a selfish choice that was. I could have taken a selfish choice where, like, well, this is what I'm going to do.
Sure.
And it's not good for you, but I've got the right to take care of me and mine, and this
Right.
is what I'm going to do.
And I'm going to communicate this to you as well.
I said that I got. Okay, I'll resent that.
Right.
I got that all day long. Okay, cool. You got every right to take care
Will
of
you
yours.
resent that?
Yeah. If someone chooses something that's going to make it harder for me when they don't have to, I guess selfishly I'll resent that. Sure.
Okay. But you could let that go after time.
Well, yeah,
Because they
because I can
communicated it.
see that this is what's best for you.
Right.
And that being said, when you're betrayed and you're deceitfully betrayed, and even though it's what's best for them, that's what crossed the line.
Wow.
And when that deceitful betrayal put me and mine in jeopardy, and caused me and mine hardship and pain, physical, emotional pain, you're not coming back from that ever.
Wow.
And while I won't waste my time on revenge, I'll never let
It's just done.
Yeah, I'll never let it go.
Yeah.
I'll take that one to the grave.
I understand that.
I'll even create a fake Facebook account under an assumed name to snipe and troll you from a distance. Really? You bet your ass I have.
I wonder.
You bet your ass I have. I've got a fake Facebook account.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I like to throw grenades in various
my
situations.
gosh.
I like to make nasty, snide comments about hurtful comments to these people in my life under an assumed name. You bet I have. Absolutely.
Note to self: do not anger your friend. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
No, yeah, thanks. It's kind of sad and weird, but I'll go with hilarious.
So, do you have a grudge that you're holding that you can talk about specifics?
That's funny. I don't know that I do. I don't know that I'm. I probably could, but I didn't. I apologize. I didn't think that deeply into this about grudge. I wanted to peripherally over 10,000 feet a grudge. Is it healthy? Is it smart?
Yeah.
Is it wise? Are there any upsides, any downsides to it? And I hope I can speak to those elements of it pretty well. Grudges that I could openly admit to and own. I don't know. I don't know if there's any value in owning a grudge. I think it's more valuable if it's just personal.
Yeah.
And kept deep in the blackness of my soul.
Yeah. To me, sharing a grudge would almost be like
Well, that almost lets
petty.
it. Well, yeah, I could see that.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
look at you and your broken self. Congratulations. High five.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't know. Yeah, the grudges I have are very, very personal.
Yeah.
And they're very, very community family based.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
understand that.
That grudge. I mean, and when I say grudge, I don't mean define grudge. Maybe I don't understand the true meaning of a grudge. I resent former boyfriends of my daughter who hurt her.
I understand that.
Who were deceitful and hurt and caused her pain.
Yeah.
And that's a grudge, I guess. I'm not interested in forgiving them and making their lives better by earning my forgiveness. It's toxic, I know. But that's okay.
You've heard about the term agape love, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a tequila thing?
It's
agave love. I'm sorry.
Añejo. Agape love.
Agape love.
Yeah, it's what is it, Greek? So the idea, granted, it's typically here I am with my Christianity again. It's typically sort of a Christian concept. The idea that God loves us with such a level of compassion that He loves us no matter what. Literally. No matter what, nothing. We could
Unconditional
murder
love,
the
sure.
whole world and He would still
Wow.
love us. That idea, right? That's just beyond any condition we can ever put as a human on it. And it's, to me, it's one of the hardest parts about being a man of faith is trying to walk that line, knowing I'm such a cluster, and how to live in a way that isn't hyper judgmental, because I am a hyper judgmental person. I am. I struggle with it. That's definitely one of my
me too.
weaknesses.
I'm horrible.
I mean, I watch.
I'm judging myself right now.
I watch.
Horrible.
I watch somebody run down the street. They could be overweight, and my brain, the first thing it goes to is look at that fat ass running down the street.
Yeah.
But then you know what? The reality is, you know what that person's doing?
Getting better.
Trying to make themselves better.
Yep.
What a
Now the fat
dick.
ass at the cheeseburger stand, that's a different story.
Right.
Right.
But I still, I mean, really, right? If I am what I profess to be, then shouldn't the first thought out of my head, the first words out of my mouth, shouldn't they be, of love and kindness and compassion and, cheering on, all those
Empathy,
things like, you go, girl, you know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so I have been, what I love about the church that I do go to, I know I've talked about not being religious, but I obviously do attend church. I just don't believe in piety, right? I very much a Christ follower, okay? I fail miserably, but that's what I do. One of the things our pastor is doing with us over the last 5 years, he touches on it constantly, is agape love, reminding us, because it's so hard to love anywhere near what we imagine, at least what we imagine.
Okay.
God loves us. And so the only thing I guess I would say to podcast listeners and to you is that attempting to love despite somebody else's weaknesses or how somebody's wronged you, to me is right up there with when somebody who does yoga or is heavily into Buddhism or Hinduism talks about that spiritual acceptance of going up a next level, right? Going up a tier,
Ascending,
if you will, ascending, right?
Yeah.
I want to ascend,
Okay.
and I want to live my life in a way that is just wholly loving and generous to others, and that probably means I'm going to get crushed.
No,
in my life because I am such a target. I'm such a target.
You let dangerous people in at that point.
Absolutely.
And I can see where that could be.
Yeah.
That could be dangerous for you. I see the wisdom in agape love. Is that what you're calling it? Okay.
AGAPE.
Yeah, agape.
Not a gape.
I see the wisdom in that. I see the value in that to one's self and self-worth. The power of forgiveness makes me a better person.
Yeah.
To let my grudges go and forgive those who have wronged me strengthens me, whereas holding a grudge, holding resentments, that diminishes me. I get that. I'm intelligent enough, I think, to understand the value of that. Okay? It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay? You're smiling because I'm full of shit.
It's just so hard.
I know.
Not what you're saying.
No.
It's just so hard, dude. It's so hard.
It's supposed to be hard because it's worthwhile. Easy shit's not worth anything,
absolutely.
right? Everything. It's easy to hold a grudge. It's not
Mental
worth it.
push-ups.
It is. But I guess I want retribution. I guess I want there to be a cost to these people. And to me, when you let someone off the hook, when you forgive, while it may make me better, there's no consequence to them. I mean, I'm not very religious. I respect it.
Sure.
I have religious beliefs. I'm not a practicing, but I totally believe in a higher power. I count on and pray to a higher power when desperation and situation dictates.
Right.
And that's shallow of me, I know, but I do it
Like
anyway.
never thanking God when things are
no,
good.
I do see that.
Dear Lord, please help me get another $1,000.
No. I never.
No, that's me.
No, I never pray for money.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. Never pray for money. I don't
Okay.
waste it on money.
Okay.
Melissa taught me a long time ago, you don't buy Powerball tickets. Ever. Because we need our good fortune in more important ways.
Yeah.
In health, in family. That's when we need our good fortune. I'm never going to waste my good fortune on money.
Well, you're already blessed. I mean, you're so clearly blessed. You have
on.
an incredible family,
I
people
do.
that love you. You love them.
I've been on E Street for so long. I really have. I see the value in forgiveness. I see the wisdom in forgiveness. But I want there to be a cost to people who have wronged me. Yeah. And if maybe it's selfishly and vainly, I feel that not having me in your life is the cost you'll pay. Fine, sure. That's cool. As I think maybe I'm just full of shit. There's no maybe involved. If I'm in your life, I hope I can make it better. I have something to enrich you in association with me. And if you've wronged me or the ones I love, you lost that. You're not getting that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to care for you or about you. I'm never going to be nice for you, to you, care for you, about you. I'm never going to wish well to you and for you. Fuck you. That's a that's me.
You guys should see his eyes. I was scared just
and
now.
I don't always think of the same three people, but most often I do.
Well, clearly,
rising to that level,
those are significant
things. Yeah,
wrong.
Yeah.
So I get that.
And I'll hold little tiny day grudges. I mean, shit. Somebody cuts me off in traffic, I'll not let them back in for miles. I'll do that mini grudge. You know,
Oh,
my little day grudge. I'll do that. You
That's
know,
interesting. I don't have any of that stuff.
Well, you're a better man than me.
No,
clearly. Yes, you are. Yes,
no.
clearly you are. Come on.
Well, maybe about that, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call it better. Just it's just something that doesn't really get under my skin.
Yeah.
But again, I am berserker. When I do go off, as my
you
children would tell you.
I sit there and let it fester, and I let it live inside me. You piss it out. That's good.
Yeah.
You spit out the poison.
Yeah. It's just I wish the poison wasn't so extreme. Because it is so extreme.
Well, you can't be thin line between love and hate, man. You can't be passionate about things without having that same equal measure
I guess.
in revenge and bitterness and
I'm an
vitriol.
artist. It's just being an artist.
Well, yeah.
I'll tell you a little quick story before we let you get back to your job here. Plus, I got to skedaddle here shortly. If you don't mind.
No, I'd love to.
So
I'm out of time. I'm sorry.
on my birthday in 1994. I was in the Navy. I was getting ready to get out. I had about 3 months left, and I was thinking about going out for the Seattle Police Department, and so I was in the sort of preliminary phases. I'd done some ride-alongs, and I really enjoyed them. But I was in the Navy band, so most people don't know that I was in the submarine force for the first few years of my Navy service. And when the submarine I was on was decommissioned in '89, I had a reassignment opportunity, and I extended my time in service, and I went to the Navy School of Music because I had been a drummer, since I was 4 years old, and I was 23 at the time, and excuse me. And had good talent, good skill set, etc. So I thought, I'm going to do this. So I jumped in the Navy band and signed up for an additional 2 years. And anyway, I ended up getting transferred out here. So I'm in the Navy band, and I wanted to be transferred out here because I was from here, and I wanted to be able to take that last tour and then get out. Okay, so I had a chance to get out a few years early, actually, because the Navy was downsizing at the time, which is why I only had 3 months left in this particular tour. And on my birthday, I ended up having to play just a local concert right in West Seattle, about 6 blocks from my house. And I was real excited because I had communicated with the leader of the band that I could go straight home. I didn't need to pack the truck. I mean, I didn't need to go back to the base. So I could just go straight home. It was my birthday.
Right.
I wanted to do that. And after the concert we performed, it was just I was in the Navy rock band, and after the concert we performed, I put all my gear away in my. I did more than I told them I was going to do. I packed up all my gear, and then I was looking for the band. I was like, "Where's everybody at?" And I thought they were seriously going to surprise me, like give me a birthday cake or something. No, they were over in the beer tent, just getting wasted. And so I walked up, and I'm not going to name the name of the guy, but I go, hey, I'm going to head home. And he goes, nah, I changed my mind. You're gonna stay here with us. We're going to be here for another hour and a half, 2 hours, and then after that, we'll pack up. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. But you're in the Navy. I mean, you have to listen to your superior. Yeah. And I go, well, tell you what I'll do. I'm like negotiating. But he told me, so I was already pissed off.
Yeah.
I'll pack the truck. I started putting everybody's gear away, breaking everything down. I mean, I broke the whole band down. 6 guys, packed everything in the truck, go back over there. And I go, hey, I'm going to leave now. Everything's in the truck. He goes, no, I told you, you're going to go back to the base and help us unload. And I said, well, you told me I could go home. He goes, yeah, I told you, I changed my mind. You're not going. So I walked out to the van. I pulled out a brand new Les Paul. Mm-hmm. I threw it out onto the road. Mm-hmm. I walked up about 10 steps. Mm-hmm. This is on a hill. My buddy's standing next to me, and he goes, what are you doing? And I go, just a second. And I go running, and I jump on top of the guitar and surfed it down the hill. And then I brought it back up and did it again. And then I put it back in the case, locked it up, and it was like some weird, like childish, I'm gonna hurt this piece of material. Well, long story short is, they eventually got done. We went back to the base. We dropped everything off, and I was pissed off like the whole time for like 4 hours, and then went home and went to bed. And when I slept, I had a dream that Monday morning I would drive on the base and there would be cop cars. And they were there to arrest the guy that had damaged Navy property.
Right.
So when I woke up, I was like kind of freaked out, like it was premonition, right? So Monday morning comes along and I drive to the base and there's cop cars. And they're all in front of the band room. And we're rehearsing in the theater. So I drive over to the theater and there's no cars. And there's always cars. And I go in the theater and I go, where is everybody? And Paul, the sound man, he goes, they're all over in the band room. Something happened. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, somebody destroyed some Navy gear. And I'm like, really? Huh?
Yeah.
And went over to the Navy band room. There's like 140 of us, right? So it's quite a few people. And they had interviewed everybody except for me. And of course, all the fingers had pointed towards me. So when it came time, I walked in. And it was straight out of the movies, man. The room's all quiet. There's all these people sitting around and nobody's talking when I walk in. And there's like military police over here and this and then. And I went back in the band room where we rehearsed in this other spot. And they're all sitting in there. And the guy who had seen me do the deed, he's sitting there. He's got his head down. And I go, hey, what's going on? He goes, dude, you're toast. You're just toast. And I said, well, I can tell I'm toast. So I walk in and they go, just sit down, please, Petty Officer Jones. And I go, why you don't need to question me. Yeah, I did it. I threw that guitar. In fact, I did it a couple times and it was awesome. I was just like flat out did it. Point is, with this whole story is I end up going to captain's mast. I didn't lose rank, but I had to, pay to repair it. And I did basically like a probationary period where I had to do extra duty and all this other work in the supply depot and all this other crap. But I was even though it was my fault, one of the guys in the band had actually turned me in. It wasn't discovered. And even if it had been discovered, all the other guys would have just, it was just a stupid moment, but we're just going to let it go. But one of the guys turned me in. And he was my closest friend in the band. So I was pissed. So if there's any sort of mini grudge, it was this, and he was just like, well, I just had to do what was right. And I'm like, you little fucker, you didn't have to do any of that. Nobody else was going to do it. Be a cop and cover my ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, that lasted maybe 2 months. And then one day I went to him and I said, hey, I'm sorry. I blamed you. And the fact is, it was all my fault. And you were just doing your job. And yeah, he didn't have to do what he did.
Right.
He didn't have to, in a sense, complete throwing me under the bus.
Right.
But the reality is I've always seen grudges as a huge part of it is my fault and how I respond. And yeah, I did really, screw the pooch. And he didn't have to do that, and I could have maybe gotten away with it, but kind of didn't deserve to get away with it.
Yeah.
And so I mean, of all my life, that would be probably the most extreme example, which is not even an example. Outside of it's just been like feelings hurt when girls broke up with me when I was a teenager,
Right.
girls cheating on me.
Right.
I was never ever the one that broke up with anybody because again, I didn't hold any grudges. I was
Right.
like, I'll just figure it out and make it work. They always broke up with me, and maybe I was a pussy.
Yeah.
But that was always the situation. So that's my lame, no story.
That's interesting you bring that out, though, because, as I sit here on my high dark horse talking about
You're
grudges.
very tall, 12 hands.
Yeah. People who have wronged me, I can't speak to people who have wronged the ones I care about, but I let that happen. I chose to, see the best in people and assume that they were being genuine and forthright and honest, but I could have, been more careful, could have been more self-preserving, and not allowed myself to be vulnerable and susceptible to betrayal.
Yeah.
And I guess holding a grudge makes me not have to face that, my ownership of a situation where I was betrayed. I was betrayed, and that's, there's 1,000 ways to dissect that shit. Just because I made myself vulnerable or opened myself up to the possibility of being betrayed, they still made the decision to do the deed and betray me.
Yeah.
But
did you set them up though?
I
Because
don't know.
I did, definitely.
Well, your guy? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, no, I don't think I wouldn't say in the very rare instances in my life where something has risen to the level of a lifetime grudge, I don't think I'd set them up to betray me. I was hoping and counting on things going a certain way, or counting on people being who they represent themselves to be, and when they chose and to not do that and to act differently, that's where the betrayal lied. I don't think I enabled that by not being as honest with myself, and as I could have eliminated those instances in my life where I was betrayed and not allowed those to happen. Probably,
right.
I could have been saying, no, I'm not going to buy that.
Reduced it. Or...
Yeah, I could have minimalized or mitigated the potential damage, but I didn't. And maybe my choice for grudges and revenge is a way for me to not have to face the fact that I had some hand in how this shit all came down.
Yeah. Interesting.
We've grown a little today, Rob.
Any final thoughts then?
I've grown a little bit today, but not that much. Not to the point where I'm ever going to say, okay, I forgive you. Fuck you. You're dead to me.
Well, you'll say fuck you, but I'll say agape love.